Hello, my fellow human. Welcome back. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. And we do things differently here on this channel. So with that being said, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Now, there may be triggering things that do arise on these readings, and there's no obligation to force it to fit. However, there's that reminder that when a trigger does arise, it is a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. So welcome to today's Pick a Card, which is How Do People Perceive You? We're going to be using the Wild Unknown Animal Oracle by Kim Krans. And let us first hop into our prayer, and we'll go ahead and get this reading underway. All right. I pray that everybody's having a beautiful day today. And if not, then may it get better from this moment forward. All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for anyone and everyone that comes onto this reading. You know, we're oftentimes so worried about what others think of us, even though we know that that's not where our truth really lies at. That in reality, it can keep us from truly pouring into our truth, and it can keep us from taking the steps that we need to for ourselves, and it can keep us from really expressing ourselves the way that we need to. And today I ask that you help us release that need to know what everyone is thinking about us, but also that feeling that how people perceive us is somehow our truth when it's not. It's just how they perceive the world and how they're seeing us through their lens, which doesn't make it true, doesn't make it real. And it doesn't mean that we have to change ourselves in order to fit into some idea or version of what others expect us to be. So while these readings are truly fun to get into, ultimately at the end of the day, it is a great reminder for us to encourage and empower ourselves to step away from the outside idea of who we're meant to be, and in turn step into who it is that we want to be and who it is that we want to embody in this here now here moment. As these words are spoken onto this reading and upon this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Aseh. Thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me go ahead and get that set up over here and move this out of the way. All right, we'll get to shuffling. So we'll find out, source, what animal oracle card is going to help us better understand this reading better? How do people perceive you, my fellow humans? How do people perceive you? What animal spirit oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today? How do people perceive you? Source, what would you like to share with us today? Thank you. How do people perceive you? What would you like to come through? How do people perceive you? All right, for pile number 1, how do people perceive you? Source, what animal oracle card is going to help us better understand how people perceive pile number 1? Thank you. And pile number 2, how do people perceive you? Source, what animal spirit oracle card is going to help us better understand how do people perceive pile number 2? How do people perceive pile number 2, source? Oh, wow. They want that one. All right. And for pile number 3, how do people perceive pile number 3? Source, what animal oracle card is going to help us better understand? Thank you. How people perceive pile number 3. Just a second. All right, collective message. We've got Peacock. Oh, did I flip my cards over here? Hold on just a second. I've got Peacock, but let me check my cards real quick. All right, I think it was just a few cards I put in there the wrong way. Yeah, okay. So how do they perceive you? You know, as Peacock comes out, I feel like it's interesting because it's like you put on a show, and it's not that it's fake or anything like that. It's just that you might know how to entertain people, or oftentimes you are the center of attention, whether you want to be or not. Like, people are just naturally drawn to you. You're very beautiful. You're very colorful. You're very bright. Very unique. Highly sought after. And also this abundance that's just pouring out from you. And people perceive this, and I feel like it's also something that people are drawn to. Even the people who perceive this, they're naturally drawn to you as well. They also perceive you as someone who isn't afraid to speak their truth, to speak their piece. And I feel like this goes hand in hand with too, where it's like you say what you need to say and then you move on. Because you know you don't have to prove anything to anybody, because your energy proves itself. And that also might be a cause for concern for some. Like, there's this feeling of, you know, insecurities that are coming up, and almost like you might get baited a lot by people. Like, people trying to get you to argue with them, or people trying to get you to get into these negative conversations, or people trying to make you feel or doubt yourself. And it's just because they see you as who you are. And I feel like at times, maybe in your past, you did get baited into a lot of that. But now you're in that energy where it's like, it just doesn't matter anymore. Look, you either like me or you don't. It's no skin off my back. Continue to live your life, because I'm going to continue to live mine, and all is well and good. And there's like this almost like a loner energy here. I don't know if peacocks are loners, but I know that, you know, there might be like a flock of them, but they're not always with each other. Like, they oftentimes wander away from each other. And you'll have one peacock that just kind of goes and is doing its own thing, and it's truly independent. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like people expect you to fit in. They want you to fit in, but as they're seeing you and they're experiencing your energy, they're perceiving the truth is that you are independent, even though you can fit in. It's not what you're naturally going to do. You're just naturally going to be in your own energy and doing your own thing, whether people agree or disagree with that. So let's see what else Peacock has to tell us. Peacock, there we are. Yeah, inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life. That's why I was saying, like, you either like me or you don't. It's no skin off my back. Like, you're great when people like you, but at the same time, it's like somebody doesn't like you, you're just like, okay, cool. Like, and moving on, we're walking, and you're unbothered by it. It says, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. When in balance, you're confident and kind. When out of balance, you can't digest situations. To bring into balance is to meditate on the navel, working with the solar plexus, taking action. So that's the thing. It's like most of the time people perceive you in this energy where you're really just unbothered by the events of the world or the events of things that are happening around you. And that gives you this very unique and mysterious edge as well. All right. Okay, so for pile number 1, we do have this dice for you to choose from with Uranus on it. Okay, we have this natural jade. Pile number 2, we have this dice with Neptune on it. We have this piece of amethyst. Pile number 3, we have this dice with Mercury on it. Or we have this piece of sodalite. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you. I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. Welcome back. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and we do things very differently on this channel. So with that being said, if there should be a trigger that does arise from this reading, it's not an obligation for you to force it to fit. And secondly, also remembering that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing. If the message does resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that, if you were drawn to this dice with Uranus on it, or if you happen to be called to this piece of natural jade, or perhaps you were called to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on how do people perceive you. Now, we are tapping into how other people are seeing you, so keeping that in mind as we're moving forward. That is in no way, shape, or form the truth of who you are. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out. How do people perceive you, pile number 1? Source, what would you like to share with us today? How do people perceive pile number 1? What messages would you like to bring forth? How do people perceive you, pile 1? So we have the 11th house, we have Taurus energy, and we have Venus. Very beautiful, very good looking, very high class, like very classy is the energy that's coming in here. Also, someone who is easy to befriend, almost like you're a friend to everyone. But you're also not attached to that friendship either. It's just like, just because you like someone or just because you get along with them, like that doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be best friends, but you still are always courteous, kind, compassionate, and willing to hear people out. But first and foremost, they perceive you as someone who takes incredibly good care of yourself before you take care of others. It's like you're putting yourself first and foremost as a priority in your life, and then others come in second. And there are some, like, there's some jealousy that's coming from that, because people see how much it has impacted your life in general and how free you seem to be. But also, there's an admiration that's coming from that as well, where people understand that the reason that you do this is because it gives you an edge in your day-to-day life. And it allows you to show up from a place of detachment from what's going on. So like if there's a lot of drama or if there's a lot of hardships that are happening outside of you, you still show up poised and with grace and in a state of calm centeredness so that you can handle it as it needs to be handled. Rather than reacting to it, you're responding to it. And people are absolutely enamored by that. In fact, I feel like you have a lot of people who approach you and they love you right off the bat. Like they've maybe never met you before, but they talk to you for 5 minutes and they're like, pile one, I absolutely love you. Like, I'm so glad we got to meet. I'm just so happy that our paths have crossed. And it's because of this energy that you exude. It's just a very beautiful energy. You are always giving love everywhere you go. You're always giving light everywhere you go. And you receive it, maybe not from all the people that you give it to, but it's like if you're at the store and you give love to someone or you give light to someone or you help someone and maybe that person doesn't say thank you, like you're unbothered by that. You're like, oh cool, at least I was able to be there when they needed me, regardless if they were grateful for it or not. You don't take it personal. And then later on, maybe you go to the gas station and at the gas station someone helps you. They just reach out and they're helping you. And for you, it's like, yeah, see, it all comes back. It all works out. And that's the energy that you give off everywhere you go. Like you have no expectations of people. And that actually ends up putting a lot of people at ease when they're with you, while at the same time, it does trigger others because sometimes they hold such high expectations of themselves. And the fact that you don't, they're not sure how to arrive in that situation. And so it tends to be a little frightening. Let's use the Osho Zen cards today. I might get some clarifiers with my Tarot Marseille. Wow, this is a really weird... You know, they're not wanting me to use this deck. Okay. I was going to use it, but no, they said no. Let's go back. We'll use the Tarot Marseille today. I tried to shuffle it. I couldn't get it to shuffle. I tried one more. I couldn't get it to shuffle again. So, yeah, they're saying no. And then, of course, these ones shuffle flawlessly. So, we're going to get the nitty-gritty. Yeah, they see you as an emotional leader and a bright light. Someone who's full of life and vitality. And when you walk into a room, everybody notices you. So they perceive you as being the center of attention. And if you didn't catch, here we go with the camera. Hold up. Whoa, I'm gonna pause this. It's not even letting me pause it. Come on. Okay, we're gonna try that again. The camera was tripping out. And I don't know why it does that. Just sometimes it does. It's usually because the message that's coming through and the guides are so powerful that are coming in. And I've noticed that it's usually with someone who has an incredibly powerful guide or an incredibly powerful angel with them. It will oftentimes trip out the camera like that. And so I feel like maybe sometimes, like this is especially your message if sometimes you're using your phone or like you have trouble with electronics at times. And it's not like all the time, but like maybe if you're in a low vibration energy or if you've had a really bad day, like suddenly you'll notice that the electronics start to trip out. And it's because your guides are present and they're trying to get you to pay attention. And that's why they do that. I was going to say, because it wasn't letting me pause or anything, but I was going to say is that if you had not checked out the collective reading at the beginning, there might be further messages for you. And that's timestamped down below because this kind of feels like that same energy. But it is very powerful. I also feel like you give people this energy where they perceive that they're able to be whomever they need to be because of the detachment. So, you know, you might hear people's stories a lot. The hard things, the things that they wouldn't share with others. And there might be times when you go home and you're like, why do people share these stories with me? And it's because you don't hold expectations over them. And they perceive that as safety. And that safety gives them a reason to reach out and be open about things that they wouldn't otherwise be open about. Like complete strangers, I feel like complete strangers come up to you and tell you their whole life story, and you listen and then you walk away, and for you might be wondering like, wow, like why did this person reveal all of that to me right now? Like that's a lot to take in. But then it's like when they're walking away, they're like, oh, I'm so glad I met pile number one. Like I would have never told anybody that. I was planning on taking that to my grave. Like, and I got it off my chest, and it's very healing for them. And so they perceive you as someone who's kind of like a life's therapist in a way, and just as someone that they feel safe sharing very difficult situations with, because they know they're not going to get judged. Yeah. Interesting. See, this is the other thing. They perceive you as someone who deals with a lot of negativity. That like you are constantly faced with a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative entities, a lot of negative comments from other people. They perceive you as somebody who gets that all the time, and yet you still slice through with grace. It's like you take killing with kindness to another level. And they are absolutely floored by it. You have had people who've walked away from you, people who have manipulated you. I feel like even there might be some people here who feel like they had a right to try to manipulate you because of that detached energy that you have. And instead, they end up telling you things that they never thought they would tell you. And so there's people who walk away and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I told pile one that. They could totally use that against me. They could just totally ruin my reputation. So there's on both sides of the spectrum here where people are glad that they were able to get it off their chest. And there are people who are absolutely admonished because they got it off their chest. They're just like, I don't know, this is going to get bad. It's going to get really bad. And they perceive you as someone who is capable of showing up and handling things in a very creative and a very feminine energy, like a very nurturing, loving way, a very caring way, grounded. And you're a good listener and you are very present with them. You might see 333 a lot. Like that might be the number that follows you around all the time. Like no matter what, you see it once a day, just randomly. You're not ever looking for it, but it just happens to show up all the time. And there's this energy also where it's like, I feel like people perceive that they have a hard time believing that someone like you can exist. Someone that is non-judgmental. And so I do feel like sometimes there are people who walk away after meeting you and they're very much stuck in their minds thinking that you're only thinking about their story and that you're wondering why the heck they're so weird and why the heck they did that or why they shared that with you. And I feel like most of the time you wonder about it right when it happens, like, wow, why did they share that with me? But then it's almost like you're the dog from Up. Squirrel, right? Something else catches your attention and you've totally forgotten about it because it was never your energy to carry, and you don't. And because you don't carry it, it's just like, that's why if you met that person again, you show up completely non-judgmental towards them, because to you it's just not, it's like, okay, and it happened, and like there's nothing we can do about it. You're not trying to force people into some box. You're not trying to force people to be some sort of way. In fact, I feel like you rarely tell people anything because you are just letting them be who they are. It's not to say that you don't stand up for yourself, but it's just like, basically, it's like if you like someone, you like them. If you don't, you don't. You're not going to go out of your way and make them feel bad because you don't like them. You know how some people do? Like, you're just not like that. You just, it's like, and even if you run into that person again, you're still cordial with them. And so people perceive you as being very mystical and very mysterious because they know that you know so much about them, but they know nothing about you. And I feel like this goes for people who have left your life as well. There's a lot of people who've left your life who are like, pile one could absolutely destroy me. And yet they've said nothing. And I feel like they're biting their nails, right? Sitting on the edge of their seat, wondering when you're going to come forward and just completely ruin their reputation, to ruin any type of, ideal that they have built up. And to you, it's not about that. You're just like, I don't care. You showed me who you were, and I'm moving on to bigger and better things. I don't care. And that bothers them too, because it's like you're living in their mind rent free. But you are someone who just eases your way out of negativity. You just ease your way out to the other side. It's like, well, this just isn't going to fit me, and I'm going to get out of here. There's a lot of people who struggle with seeing the fact that it's like they can't wrap their heads around the fact that you are the way that you are, especially if you've dealt with very difficult people. In fact, it could be the very people who manipulated you that are feeling this way as well. We have Scorpio energy coming out. I'm not surprised. We have intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. Yeah, it's there's also that jealousy and envy that's coming out as well. But you being you exposes people. But it's not you that's doing the exposing. They're exposing themselves because it's so raw. When you show up, it's so raw. It's so real. You're like a real one. And because you're that real one, they just can't help themselves. They find themselves talking about things that before they even realize they're talking about it, before they even knew it, they told you the whole story. They're walking away like, oh my gosh, I just told them this whole story. Yeah, the sun, self-express, embody truth. You light up a room. You light up my life. I don't know the rest of the words, but that's what was coming through. I think it's a Leanne Rimes song. I'm not sure. But yeah, you light up their lives. Like, you light up the room. You sparkle when you come in. Sounds weird, but it's true. Like, they can't help but be attracted to you. And it's not, we're not talking about like romantic attraction here. It's just energetic attraction. Naturally, people are drawn to you like a moth to the flame. So that's also why I feel like you've dealt with a lot of manipulative, negative people who also might have narcissistic tendencies again. And I've said this before, and just to reiterate, I'm not here to diagnose anybody. However, we all as humans, we all can have narcissistic tendencies without being narcissists. It's just human of us, right? So I do feel like there's been people in your life who've definitely exerted those tendencies a lot more than others and have projected that onto you, and you've had to deal with them and learn how to rebalance yourself and not care so much about what people think. So what that's making me feel right away, and I know this isn't about how people perceive you, but it is going to come out, and I want to tell you, is that it's feeling like you had one situation or a couple of situations that were so big where you hung on every word of the other person, and you began to lose yourself because of someone else or because of a couple of other people. And that taught you not to hold on to outcomes. And when you finally released yourself from the outcomes, the freedom that you felt was enough to step into your own internal power. Yeah, we have child eternal. Determination to remain young, embody mind and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Yeah, you're not looking at people through judgment. You're looking at people through like, oh, okay, that's life. And that's scary to a lot of people when they feel like all they've been is judged their whole lives. The shadow is the inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on the others for physical security. Yeah, so I feel like at some point, isn't it interesting? I didn't know this was on the bottom, but that extreme dependency on others for physical security, that might have been a part of your story at some point where you were so codependent on someone else and someone else was so codependent on you that you had lost yourself. We have Beaver Spirit here flying out with lay a solid foundation. You're very clear about who you are. You see yourself with eyes of love. And it's not to say that it's perfect. It's not to say that you don't judge yourself still. What it's saying is that when judgment does arise, you're aware of it and you don't fall down the rabbit hole of self-criticism and self-doubt. It's like, I've already spent too much time in that hole and I am choosing to believe in myself. And that shows. So people see you as someone who has faith in their own abilities. Wow, thank you for that confirmation, Source. We have Skunk Spirit on the bottom with know your worth. Yeah, so people perceive you as someone who knows their value and knows their worth. And of course, with Taurus and Venus energy coming out here, that makes total sense, right? You value your time, you value yourself above others. And I know it's like, that's oftentimes seen as selfish, but self-love isn't selfish. There's this line in this song. It says, self-love ain't selfish. You felt my love. What is it? My love reigns supreme. You felt this, you know this. And so it's like that energy, like our love, it reigns supreme. But when we're giving that to everyone else and our cups are slowly fading and slowly draining, we miss out on so much. And so to give that back to ourselves, to take it away from others, it feels selfish and they might think it is selfish. But at the same time, they've felt the taste of our love and they know that that is a royal type of love. And that's scary when that goes away. But you've had to give that back to yourself. Lantern. 44. Consciousness is light. Exactly. Again, coming back to this energy of like, you're this light energy that comes in. You like set the room on fire. But you set the room on fire with love and light and consciousness and awareness. But I do feel like at times you're unaware of just how much you affect the energy in the room. All eyes on you. All right. How do people perceive you, pile one? Thank you. On the bottom, worry. Yeah, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. So with worry coming out here, that's giving me that confirmation of what I was saying earlier. It's like when they leave, they're worried now because you have fuel against them. And the people who worry the most about it are the people who would use that as fuel against others, right? And you're just not in that energy. You're just not. And so you leave people on the edge of their seats, biting their nails, wondering if one day you're going to come out and say all kinds of crazy things about them. And then you never do. And they're like, well, maybe it's just not time yet. Maybe they're waiting for the right moment so that it completely crushes me. And then you just never do. And it leaves them baffled because of that. We have growth coming out. A lot of green in your energy coming from a heart space here. Abundance. Yeah. I believe we felt that at the beginning too. Just see you as this very abundant person. It's very expansive energy and trust. Yeah, people trust you. You're very trustworthy. And that also bothers people because trust is a very rare commodity these days. On the bottom, we have death. Someone who has gone through a lot and has transformed and transmuted that energy into something that is pliable for the journey moving forward. All right, let's see. I want to get, I guess this one. No, okay, they're showing me this one. Okay, we'll get one of these or a couple of these and then we'll see. Two, they said. Okay, yeah. Skills and talents, gratitude on the bottom. So with gratitude, it says there's always something to be grateful for, even in the darkest of situations. Now is the time to recognize what is going well in your life and what you are thankful for. So people perceive you as someone who's just grateful for life in general. Like you're not, even when things get hard, when the going gets tough and the tough get going, right? Like you're the tough that gets going. You're not letting it bring you down. Why do I hear that song from All Dogs Go to Heaven? Can't keep a good dog down. No, wow, 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 wow. Can't keep a good dog down. I haven't seen that movie in years. But that's the energy that you're in. It's like, it doesn't matter. You know you're a good person. You know you have good intentions in the world, and you're still human, and you're going to make mistakes, but none of that gets you down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how people show up. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just when things get tough, you get up and you still keep going. We have skills and talent. Everyone has unique skills and talent. Discover where you shine and work to improve. Create value with your skills. Let your talents shine and you'll become a better version of yourself. So people perceive you as someone who has skills and talents. Talent for days is what I'm hearing. Pile one, they got talent for days. But there's this energy where you are seen as someone who really believes in themselves. And that's also not that common. It's powerful, but it's not that common. Child nature. So both of these were both child cards on the bottom of the deck, and this one. We have friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits and the shadows, tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Again, with the green coming out here, you are very tapped into the natural rhythm of the world. And I feel like that's also what puts people at ease, is rather than trying to go against the flow of nature, it's like you step off the cliff and trust that nature is going to catch you every time, right? Or trust that source is going to catch you every time. And it's not about trying to force anything. You just naturally let things play out. Number 22, a lot of synchronicities on your reading. We have 44 come out on one of the cards, 22 on this same deck. So M333 coming through as well. 11, we have together we can transcend our individual limitations. Women supporting women. So again, that very nurturing energy coming in here. You support people. And people, they recognize and appreciate that. And they perceive that as a gift. 23, broken dreams. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. That's it. So the thing here with this card, it's that energy of you've been through a lot of difficult things, but you've learned to believe in yourself. And so they perceive you as someone who is capable of showing up no matter what is happening. You're still going to show up as you are. Forgiveness. Wow, what a powerful card to come through on your reading. Acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So people, they perceive you as someone who forgives. You might not forget, but you do forgive. And you don't hold it against others. So I'm saying, like, the people biting their nails on the edge of their seat, like they're waiting for you to use something that they've done to you as, you know, and the information that you have as payback, as revenge. And that's not you. You just don't do that. So we've got resolution. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way that we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. When people tell you their stories, you're actually helping to bring resolutions into their lives. You don't need to do anything. You already do it just by listening and being you. And naturally, that helps others have that space to heal. It's very powerful. So let's take a look at your card here. We're going to read this from the book. We have turtle. Slow moving. You're very calm. You're very calm. You're not in a rush. That's what I was saying. Like when everyone's trying to force things, you're not. You're just let source take over. Trust the flow, the natural flow of the world. Nothing needs to be rushed. All right, turtle. Turtle says an ancient soul. Ooh, I love that. So you're very wise. Grounded, trusting, and at home in the self. Yes, very comfortable in your own skin. It is a wonderful presence. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver. And we got beaver. Oh my gosh. The turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. We're talking about with the flow, the fluidity of the universe. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life. No matter where their travels lead them, turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers. And everybody tells you their story. Oh my gosh, I love this synchronicity. As they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. I love this synchronicity for you, Pile 1. When in balance, you are peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, you slow down to a halt, and to bring back into balance, take an adventure. Look at this, so much green. So much green. And just because beaver came up, let's see if we can find beaver. I don't know if beaver is under... Oh, yep, right here, beaver. It says hard worker, loyal, tireless, and family first. The beaver personality is a welcome sight. Those good-natured and dependable creatures have infinite love and enthusiasm for family and express it by way of the earth element, providing a home, financial stability. Although a beaver doesn't usually initiate a project, once started, they'll work steadily for weeks, months, or years to see it through. The beaver card appears when the task at hand requires your long-term, steady effort. It can also signify that it is time for some karma yoga, selfless service. When in balance, you're happy, meaningful work. Out of balance feels useless, worn out, and to bring into balance is physical labor, and selfless service. Yeah, so just really telling here with those energies, you're this huge presence in life and people perceive that right away. You know, wouldn't surprise if you give back to the community or find ways to give back to people, not just strangers, but just people you know, people you love, people you care about. And that is something that people see as hope, and they look up to you and they admire you, and it inspires them. So you're just a massive personality, which is such an honor. Well, this is what I see here for you, Pile 1. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little turtle emoji down below and say, through all the experiences I have collected under my shell, I am able to give others space to tell their own tale. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message. And until next time, Pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. Welcome back. We're all here sharing this human experience together. This is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel, so if a trigger should arise, remember there's no obligation to force it to fit, but also reminding yourselves too that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, if the messages do happen to resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you were drawn to this dice today with Neptune on it, or if you're drawn to this piece of amethyst, or perhaps you were called to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on how do people perceive you. Quickly, we are tapping into how other people see you. So with that being said, that does no way, shape, or form the truth of who you are. So keeping that in mind as we move forward, I just want to move the camera a tad bit here. All right, so let's go into it and find out, how do people perceive you, Pile number 2? Source, what would you like to share with us today? How do people perceive Pile number 2? How do people perceive you, Pile number 2? Source, what would you like to come through? Okay, so we've got the 8th house, we have Taurus energy, and Saturn. Ooh, you are someone who speaks a lot of difficult truths. And this is a part of who you are. You have been outcast quite a bit in your life. And the thing is that I don't know if I can get that to zoom in or to. I'm just trying to see if that'll. Oh well, we're just gonna go with it. You speak a lot of difficult truths, and it wouldn't surprise me if you were outcast in your life because of these difficult truths. Like, you're seeing things from outside of the box where people are so quick to say, like, maybe they're blaming someone that there's really no one to blame, or they're causing a lot of drama that there's no need to cause drama. And people perceive you as someone who is so comfortable sharing these difficult truths and these difficult tough love moments with people. In fact, I feel like you may get channeled messages for others as well, and those channeled messages are things that you know people need to hear, but also realize that just because they need to hear it doesn't mean that they're going to be open to receiving it. So I do feel like at times you've been met with a lot of resistance, and it has taken you a lot of time, energy, and effort to become comfortable with giving these hard truths to people. You are someone who is fiercely loyal, and people who get to know you, that's something they perceive right away, is your loyalty and your stability when it comes to relationship. You don't give up, and you're not going to give up. Like, even if there's periods of time where maybe you can't show up consistently all the time, you're still going to come back. You're still going to show up until people show you the truth of who they are, where if you need to, you will cut them off. People perceive you as someone who is incredibly powerful and who is very, very looked up to, but also as someone who is easy to envy and easy to be jealous of. And I feel like for you, Pile 2, it's like, I hope that no one's jealous of me, because I wouldn't wish this ability that I have on others, because you felt just how cold it can be in the world because of having this ability to share these difficult truths with people. How many times people are blaming you for the messages that you're receiving, or they're blaming you because you see beyond the surface level situation. And so where there are people now who may be benefiting from these truths that you're giving, they're also perceiving you as someone who is comfortable in giving those. And I feel like that's just not how it's always been. It's not something that I'm getting. Like, in my gut, I feel like it's still something that at times when you get a message that you know you need to pass on, there's times when you still cringe a little bit. It's like, oh, I don't know about passing that one on. But then you've also learned to trust in the process, and trust that not everybody's going to be ready and willing to hear them. But also holding on to those messages, I feel like, has caused you more pain than just being upfront and saying them in the manner that you said them. And they perceive you as someone who does work hard. Like, you're consistent with whatever you do, whether that's work, life, school, learning, hobbies, whatever it is. You're very consistent. Being a parent, being a spouse, you're very, very, very consistent. You're also someone who's very encouraging. So here's the thing, Pile 2, it's like you might have these very difficult messages to give, but you soften the blow by being you. Just being you, it softens the blow. It's like, if it came from anyone else, most people would be really quick to reject it. And while you've absolutely experienced people rejecting these messages, I've also get this energy where you have felt people who have accepted it as well. And it's because you soften the blow when you give it to them. Like, you're coming from a place of being able to put the shoe on the other foot. And so people perceive you as being understanding and empathetic and willing to open your heart to seeing that, the difficult things that we're going through. You're not just like, oh, I don't want to understand, or I'm not going to understand. You're willing to open yourself up to that. How do people perceive you? Yeah. Wow. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands in the upright as an ally, a friend. Very committed, very stable. You could be a Taurus sun, Sagittarius rising, a Leo moon. You could be any one of those three in your main threes. You could have a Scorpio in Pluto. You could have Scorpio in Saturn. You could have Scorpio in the 10th house is coming in as well. Scorpio and Taurus north and south nodes. Okay. You're very balanced on both sides. Like, you can be very brash when you need to be, but I feel like the thing is most of the time you're trying to show up in a very, like, it's like not happy-go-lucky, but a very easy energy. Like, I'm not here to try and cause drama. I'm just here to do what I need to do and move on. And it's been very, very challenging for you, but people do come to you for advice. And so people perceive you as someone they can trust when they have difficulties in their own life, someone that they can come to and reach out to for spiritual guidance or for spiritual counsel or for counseling of the soul and the heart, even the mind and the emotional well-being. Now, there's a lot of people who perceive you as being incredibly tapped in to the unknown. But there are also people who perceive you as someone who doesn't want to deal with your own past. And I feel like the people who are perceiving you as someone who doesn't want to deal with your own past and your own triggers are people who are deeply triggered by what you're bringing. So it's easier to project that, oh, pile number 2 isn't doing any of the work at all, but they expect everyone else to do the work. When in the reality is that you very much have done the work and you continue to do the work. There's going to be people who just see it from the way that they want to see it, right? And we can't change that. But I do feel like a lot of people have hurt you, and you've had to grow from that. And of course, there may still be repressed energy here. Of course, there may still be situations from the past that you're still reclaiming your power from. But you still continue to move forward. You've had to start again and again and again, right? And you could have had to overcome. So I'm getting a sickness, like an illness here. Honestly, I'm just going to say it. So again, like I said, I set it up for if triggers do come in. So just reminding you. But I was getting like cancers coming in here, some sort of illness that could have been potentially terminal. And I feel like you had to rearrange your life in order to heal from that. And that's a very specific message that's not going to resonate with everybody. I feel like that's going to resonate with maybe 1 or 2 of you here, but it is coming in. And so people perceive you as someone who was weak constitution and fragile at some point in time, but that you have since grown from that. And so you've come into this place of being a trusted person where people can come and bring to you their inquiries, and you are going to help them find the right path for them. And I don't feel like you choose the path for them. I feel like you help give them, again, that truth. And then that with that truth comes options, and then they get to choose what path works for them. But if they hadn't have come to you in the first place, they wouldn't have had those options to begin with. I feel like there's also an energy here where people perceive you as a loner, like a lone wolf. Like you don't really mingle with a lot of people. You spend a lot of time working. You spend a lot of time taking care of things at home. You spend a lot of time taking care of yourself. You spend a lot of time doing shadow work and healing. And maybe that just doesn't leave a lot of time for other people. But when people do get access to you, they're incredibly grateful for that, and they perceive you as someone that is going to go very far in life and have a lot of very profound experiences. So I say, like, loyal, like, you are loyal. And that's the thing, like, there's somebody here. It feels like one person. Excuse me, I need a drink. There's one person or maybe two people here that have felt the wholeness of your loyalty and your stability in loyalty. And there's a lot of great gratitude that's coming in because of that. And so they also, this perception that goes with that is understanding that the reason you're so loyal is because you've been so betrayed in your own journey. And you had to learn how to be that for yourself. Let's see what else comes out. All right, so how do people perceive you? We have the moon flipping over with satisfy emotional needs, nurture self and others. Yeah. You are very emotionally mature and grounded, and you help others find that emotional groundedness. And sometimes they don't find it until after you maybe have had to cut ties with them, but you're the one that plants those seeds because you've had to. You're like the Johnny Appleseed of emotional seed planting. Oh, that's cute. Trying. We have angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. So there's a lot of people who do perceive you as lucky. Like, you've gotten a lot of assistance in your life, or things maybe have come easy for you. And that's why you were brave enough to step up into the position that you're in. I feel like for a lot of you, that's not the truth. Like, maybe things do come easy for you now, but I don't feel like they came easy to you always. We did have the Hermit flip over. That's why I was saying, like, a lone wolf energy here is coming through for sure. We have seek solitude to focus intently on inner life and serves personal creativity. The shadows withdrawals from society out of fear and negative judgment of others, refusing to help those in need. I feel like the reason you have to come into that hermit energy is so that you can recoup from helping others. You could also have very prominent Pisces placements in your chart. So Pisces moon, Pisces sun, Pisces Venus, Pisces in the 9th house, Pisces in the 6th house especially, Mercury in Pisces. So these are things that are coming through, and it's like that need to draw away from others so that you can recharge. That's a very Piscean energy. So even if you don't have Pisces in your chart, that's just something that Pisces will naturally do. And so I feel like that's something that you've had to learn for yourself, is to draw away so that you can recharge and really recover from these hard truths that you know. Avenger, yeah. Desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself, and the shadows resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Like, that's the thing. You want justice. You want justice out in the world. You want things to be fair. And there's this recognition that passing on these truths will help bring fairness to the world, but also knowing that you can't force people into accepting them. They have to be willing to accept them themselves. And sometimes that's the challenge, right? But we have Starfish Spirit with open to the infinite, the infinite possibilities. So I'm seeing 9 a lot for you. 999 is coming in. There's this energy where it's like you help bring situations to a close, or you easily finish patterns and repeat cycles. And so people perceive you as having ease of finishing cycles. Like, you're able to get in and get out when there's a trigger. You're able to get in and get out when there's something that's difficult to handle, and you make it look easy. I just feel like it's because you have so much practice and you've had to learn incredible patience through this journey. Yeah. Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. So people perceive you as being bold and fearless and strong, and like, you just, nothing bothers you. And I feel like maybe that is the case in some instances, but I also feel like that's something that you've had to learn how to lean on throughout this journey. We have 21 coming out with key to intimacy. Intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. And so you have had to go through what love is not in order to be an embodiment of what love means to you. And so others perceive you as being a very loving person, but not everybody gets to experience that love. They also see you as a light in the dark, right? There's a lot of darkness around this hermit here. There's a lot of darkness in this picture. Even here in the starfish, there's a lot of like, this is all lit up, but there's the darkness that's just outside. And so you're a hope for a lot of people on their journey. Hope that they never thought that they would see or experience. Transitions. Wow. You have all the inner resources to, let me try that again. You have all the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. Oh, what I got on my card. So you are very good at going through transitions in life as well. And people perceive that as that's easy. You make change look easy. You've learned how to ride the wave. It's not easy to ride that wave, but you make it look easy. And so people perceive you as someone who doesn't care that change is happening. And I feel like change affects you just the same as it does everyone else. It's just you've realized that there's nothing that you can do to stop it. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. So it's like, well, here comes change. If I can't beat it, I might as well just join it. Yeah, a lot of envy. I'm the same as everybody, but with different challenges. So I do feel like a lot of people envy you. They think that you have life easy, and I don't feel like that's the case. But it's not everybody. That's not everybody. There are people who envy you, and they perceive it as though you've never had to struggle. And then there are people who recognize the gift that you have to give, and they realize that, you know, even if it looks like things are easy for you right now, they're not necessarily easy for you. It means that you're going through something, but you don't often share that with people. You keep a lot of it to yourself. And I feel like that's why people are quick to judge you, is because you don't share a lot of your struggles. You don't share a lot of the things that you've experienced in life. It's easy to judge what you don't know, right? Okay. Wow, this card flipped over. We have hunger. You know, this card always makes me feel like the hunger to achieve something. With Saturn energy here, having that determination and that drive to get there. So people see you as hungry to achieve something. But also, it's still bringing me back to this light, right? And so I feel like it's like that's your goal in life, is to go towards what it is that you want to experience. And that's why it drives you. But it's also the very thing that lights you up from the inside, because you found alignment with who you are. Surrender. Yeah. That's what I was saying, like with change. If you can't beat them, join them. You've learned to surrender to the process. And that brings a lot of mixed emotions with people, right? Some people really think that's so admirable and something to look up to, and other people really envy that and take that very personal. The trains are coming. Let me get another one of these. Alright, so that guy's really, really honking. We're taking action today. Time to implement long cherished ideas. Isn't it funny? And that he was honking the horn for so long, and we have long cherished ideas. And I felt like that meant something to the reading as well. It's like there's a lot of noise that's around you, things that go on for a long time, things that stick around for a long time, and you have to take action to get around them or through them. And people they don't perceive you going through hard times because they don't know those things about you. But I just feel like that's source coming in and saying, I just want to quickly acknowledge that we know and we recognize that. It says you're on the right track towards making your dreams and visions reality. The right people, circumstances, and resources are being sent your way. Happiness and new opportunities are at hand. So that's coming back with that hunger card too. Right? You have the hunger to get to this one place, this one destination, this one goal, and nothing's going to stop you from getting there. We have encouragement. You're going to level up. It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in life for your highest good. That is why you've been looking. This is the why you've been looking for, pushing through it. There's a reward waiting at the finish line. Yeah, so people do perceive you as hardworking and able to push through those difficult situations. Okay, we have imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So people perceive you as incredibly imaginative, very creative, smart, clever. In some cases, it's interesting. I am getting that some people perceive you as manipulative, but again, I do feel like that's them projecting onto you. I don't feel like that's the truth. And maybe that's something you dealt with in your past where you did have, we all manipulate people, and it's not like we're doing it consciously. I feel like it's just something that's so ingrained in each and every one of us. So that could be something that you've consciously become aware of, like that you had manipulated people in your past, and that's something you let go of. But there's an energy here. It feels like one particular person that's really in your energy that has a big problem with you being who you are, and they may project a lot onto you. And I feel like it's just been one of those things where you've had to really just deal with it and face it as it comes. And that's also why you spend a lot of time in hermit energy, is to draw away from this one particular energy. Yeah, we've got frustration coming through after we're talking about that, of course. So there's people here who are frustrated because you don't fit in. They perceive you as standing out so much that they just wish that they could hammer you back down into being small, or being not so, brilliant, not so standing out, not so light. They want you to go back to the way that you once were. And so there's a lot of frustration around you right now for some people, because they perceive you as getting away with murder here. And when I say that, that's the line in a song. I think it's a Papa Roach song. But when they're saying that, it's like you're getting away with everything, right? You're getting away with whatever, and nobody's saying anything to you. And it seems like people still like you. People want to be around you. People love your energy. And it feels like there's this one person here who just sees you and they're just like so frustrated about you. And they perceive you as being able to do whatever the heck you want, and no one's going to say anything about it. And that's not, I don't feel like they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're only looking at it from their rose-colored glasses and thinking that you don't have to struggle. But I tell you what, if they ever had to pick up your cross, they would struggle. They wouldn't even be able to pick it up, because there's so much you have to do, and there's so many things that you have to do to face that. But they're not ready or willing to see it from that side of things. And so I keep getting this energy, and I feel like that's where the envy is coming from as well. There's someone here who wishes they had your life, but they wish that they had only the good parts of your life. This is not someone who would be willing to actually take on what it is that you have to go through on a day-to-day basis. Reward and recognition. Congratulations, your hard work will soon pay off and take you in the direction of your dreams. Acknowledge your efforts and your own power. Yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like that's the thing, you're recognizing your power. You're recognizing that what you've done has gotten you to where you are. And you're stepping up into this leadership role. And so there's a lot of people who perceive you as being the go-to person. Right? That could be at work, in life in general. That could be on some sort of online presence. That could be whatever it is. There's a lot of people around you right now who see you as the go-to person for assistance and help. So we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it is. Well, I don't know why your cards are coming out today. We've got cheetah. Fast. fast. You're getting somewhere fast. And for you, I don't feel like it's been fast. It's interesting. I felt good before I got onto your reading. And now the further I get into your reading, the more tired I'm getting. So I do feel like you're very exhausted with the journey itself. This is connected to fire, tarantula, camel, gazelle, cheetah. Yeah, look at this. A solar force. Okay. So solar force, action, achievement, and masculine energy. Yeah, you're very encouraging of others as well. The cheetah is the epitome of the solar forces at work. The sun doesn't shine onto the cheetah. It shines from inside this great creature. We were talking about the light coming. Wow, what a synchronicity. It expands outward to brighten the universe. The energy within the cheetah personality is palpable to others, and they naturally attract an audience to bear witness to their remarkable achievements. So a lot of achievement, people perceive you as very successful. Purpose and passion are the best fuel for a cheetah's forward momentum. So if you're lacking in those areas, reconnect to the why before you start running. What do we see here? This is the why. Was that not on the bottom here? The encouragement? Yeah, look. This is the why you've been looking for. Do you see that right there? Right here. And then the cheetah spirit with this is the why. Coming back to the why. So people perceive you as knowing why you do what you do and taking the journeys that you take. It says, when in balance, you achieve anything and you have boundless energy. When out of balance, you're impatient and competitive. To bring into balance is to reconnect to purpose. And I feel like even when you are in balance, people still try to make it a competition with you. And I feel like that's something that's also equally frustrating, because it's like you're not trying to compete with anybody. You're just trying to be you and live your life. But there's a lot around you right now where people perceive you as this hard worker. They perceive you as someone who's going places. They perceive you as someone who's creating a life from nothing and getting assistance with that as well. And overall, you're just this powerful force of being able to help others and guide others on their journey as well. It's a very powerful energy. You should be really proud of yourself too, Pile 2, because you've come a long way since you first started this journey. All right, but this is what I see here for you. If you feel like this is your reading, I don't know if there's a cheetah emoji. So if there's a cheetah emoji, put that. But if not, put a cat emoji. Do the orange cat below and say, I run headfirst into my dreams, my goals, and my aspirations, knowing that I have the strength and I am empowered enough to create my life from scratch. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. Well, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I want to take a quick second, though, to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human, and welcome back. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things differently here on this channel, so with that in mind, if something triggering does come up, remember there's no obligation to force it to fit. Also, to keep in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint to deepen our healing experience. If the messages happen to resonate, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that being said, if you were called to this dice with Mercury on it, or if you're drawn to this piece of sodalite, Or perhaps you were called to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be a reading on how do people perceive you. Quickly would like to mention that we are tapping into other people's idea of you, so that in no way, shape, or form is the truth of who you are. So I ask that you keep an open heart as we go into this. These are just for fun. So, Source, how do people perceive pile number 3? Pile number 3, how do people perceive you? What would you like to come through today, Source? How do people perceive you, pile number 3? Okay, so we've got the 3rd house. We have Uranus energy and Scorpio. You are quite an oddball. People perceive you as the oddball out. But someone who has a very clear way of communicating and shares some very, very deep, unique views. You have a lot to say a lot of times about things that people maybe aren't necessarily thinking about. It's not surface level for you. So they perceive you as someone who wants to go deep, to dig deep, to maybe get to know someone in a way that's potentially scary for them. While at the same time, if you recognize that people aren't willing to go that deep, you're fine having surface level connections. They do not fulfill you the way that intentionally going in and finding out more about people do. But people do perceive you as adaptable. You are very logical. You're very creative as well. And that seems like a conundrum, but it's not. There's like this energy where you're able to perceive most situations from a logical, rational mind. But you also have this ability to show up with very creative solutions. You are a people person. People perceive you as a social butterfly here, capable of making friends anywhere and everywhere you go. And at times, you're actually the life of a party, while other times you are someone who will stay in the background and try to blend in. So it's really hard for people to pinpoint exactly who you are. And that's why they're saying you're the oddball out, is because you're very unpredictable in everything that you do. There's no consistency, and that's just part of your nature, and that's okay. It's actually really good to have people like you, pile 3, because when people start to get predictable, it becomes boring, and you are anything but boring. I do feel like you may be an inventor as well, or people feel like maybe you're really involved with science, or you like to create new things, or maybe like you're an app creator, or you are some kind of programmer. Like technology is coming through here as well. So like maybe you're like in tech support, but you maybe create video games, or that's something that you would really like to do. Or when you're playing video games, or you see something that is like maybe CGI, like you have brilliant ideas to help make it more fluid. Well, people perceive you as someone who's incredibly talented when it comes to technology. Okay. So how do people perceive you, pile number 3? Source, what would you like to come through? How do people perceive pile number 3? Thank you. So something about splitting ways. So whether maybe it's easy to split ways with you, or you oftentimes split ways with people. And it's really nothing personal. It's just that this is where you're at on your journey. And so you just don't have time for everybody, especially if you make friends really easily. So people perceive maybe you having too many friends and not having enough time for them, or, you know, to do the things that you used to do. Like a busybody. That's what I'm getting. It's a busybody. Actually, really a lot of positive energy here. So people perceive you as someone who, again, that energy with the Hermit here, like you like to dig in deep. You like to know what makes people tick. You like to know what makes people do the things that they do. Like, why are you like that? And you ask questions like that. You ask questions that really can open someone up to a lot of vulnerability, and you're confident about it too. Like, you're not doing it because you have any ulterior motives or anything like that. You're doing it because you're genuinely curious, and that curiosity scares people. Right? And so I feel like you may attract a lot of very conceited people, or people who, overstep their boundaries, or people who are very much like, oh, I know better than you do. And yet, no matter what, at the end of the day, even if you attract a lot of these people, you still stay grounded in your confidence. You could have Leo placements highly aspect in your chart. You could have a Leo sun with an Aquarius rising, or you could have Leo in the North Node and Aquarius South Node, or Leo South Node, Aquarius North Node coming through. You could also have Leo and Saturn, Virgo and Saturn, or Taurus and Saturn is coming through. Sagittarius moon, Libra moon is coming through as well, and a Capricorn moon. Okay. The thing is here is that also I feel like people perceive you as someone who is very conservative out and about, but when you have somebody that you are, romantically involved with, you are a freak in the sheets. And that is coming through. Like, you're very attractive, or you have like a very unique sex appeal about you, and people are naturally drawn to that. In fact, I feel like you get hit on a lot by a lot of different people. People are like really trying to flirt with you, or get you to have a one-night stand with them, or to get you, to get you in the bedroom. That's what I'm getting here. Okay, so people may perceive you as promiscuous or very loose, if you will, and I feel like that's not necessarily the case. I feel like most of the time you might actually get really irritated because so many people hit on you. Like, dang, like, why is everybody hitting on me? What the heck is going on? Like, again, if you have Leo placements, that could be because you're like, yeah, man, I know I'm a Leo. I know I'm this. I know I'm that. But, man, I'm tired of people hitting on me. Because, Leos, they like to be the center of attention. No beef against Leos. That's cool, right? I get it. And that's what it feels like here. It's like you're not trying to put yourself out that way, but people just... So you could have a bubbly personality, and people think you're flirty, and they think that you just, would take home any stranger, any random person. I don't feel like that's who you are. But people are naturally attracted to you because you're very open and friendly and smart and unique, and they can't help but be driven to you. There are people here who do perceive you as misguided, as disconnected. And I feel like that disconnection is actually you being disassociated or unbothered by certain people in certain ways. But mostly people perceive you as someone who they know they're going to get what they give. And they've learned this through the hard way. There could have been people who tried to breadcrumb you, and you met them with breadcrumbing. There could have been people who poured into you, and you poured into them, and they know that they're going to get met with what they put into this connection with you. And I think that that is something that people are very shocked by. Yeah, there's this energy that's coming in. It's like you're very nurturing, but you're also really cold and withdrawn. So people there's no, like, this is exactly who you are. You are kind of all over the place with your emotions, the way you show up, and I feel like it just depends on the type of energy that's there in the day. Like, your moods may be as vast as your closet, right? So you might have clothes that fit your mood, and that's why you have so many different clothes, or that might be why you have so many different outfits or accessories or something like that. But I feel like the thing is that you're just unpredictable because you let yourself show up however you're going to show up. Like, you're not trying to fit in. You're not trying to, always be the same. In fact, I feel like maybe you tried that at some point. It was just so utterly boring for you. You were about to tear your hair out. It's like, I can't do this anymore. And so you gave yourself space to be who you are. And people are like, oh, I can't pinpoint pile number 3. They're all over the place. They're doing this, they're doing that. And so they just perceive you as ungrounded at times, while very grounded at other times. They perceive you as being incredibly cold and closed off, while at other times perceiving you as being incredibly loving and kind. But one thing that stands for sure is that you are someone who's not afraid to dig in deep to those mysterious shadow topics, as well as holding yourself in high regard and having confidence over who you are. And that's something that people definitely feel right when they see you, right when they meet you. And it's something that never goes away. You're very confident about who you are. We've got Aquarius flying in. Yeah, so you could have highly aspect Aquarius in your chart as well. We have originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. Yeah, you're very different. You're just a unique person. So there is no putting you into some sort of box like other people. Oh, they're conservative or they're radical, because you're both conservative and radical. You're both hot and cold. You're both weird, strange, normal, and boring, right? Like you are all things rolled into a package, which is all of us, but you really live that. And people perceive you as being a free spirit because of that. On the bottom, Scorpio energy. Yeah, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. Yeah, you're very intense. Very intense. You could have a Scorpio sun here as well with an Aquarius rising, Leo moon. A lot of fixed energy. You are perceived as being stubborn at times as well. Okay, thank you. On the bottom, this came out in another pile. And just always, if you watch all 3 piles, leave a purple heart down below or say I made it. That's my Purple Heart Club. And I appreciate those of you that choose to spend the entire reading with me. And if you're here for pile 3 and pile 3 alone, I appreciate you as much, because it means the world to me that you would choose these readings and spend this time with me. So we do have child nature with friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. So you could be, what are they called? The green witch or green warlock. So you could really be into herbology and growing your own things, have a really unique green thumb. And then the shadow is tendency to abuse animals and people and the environment. I feel like you definitely had a lot of struggle in your life, and that's what made you really connect with non-human creatures, if you will. It's easier for you to connect with non-human people because non-human peoples. Yeah, that's right. Non-human creatures, because you don't feel misunderstood by them. You feel like just like you can be who you are with them, they can be who they are with you. And there's no like, well, why are you this or why are you that? So we have squirrel spirit, believe in yourself. Yeah, you're very confident. So people perceive you as incredibly confident. You believe in yourself, you trust yourself, and it's very unique. Yes, I love this chameleon spirit. Act as if. You blend in too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you stand out, sometimes you blend in. You're still, no matter what though, even when you're blending in, you're still standing out, even if you're not trying to. Come, chameleon. I always think about that song when the chameleon card comes out. But how do people perceive pile number 3 source? This one and that one. Okay. Okay. On the bottom, accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and to others. So you take accountability for yourself. They see you as someone who isn't afraid to own your actions, to own what it is that you've been through. How do people perceive pile 1? Thank you. Yeah, happiness on the bottom. I'm aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. So like happy-go-lucky, bubbly, unique, beautiful, handsome, good-looking. How do people perceive pile number 3? How do they perceive you, pile number 3? Okay. Pain. Yeah, they perceive you as having gone through a lot in your life, a lot of hardships, having dealt with a lot of pain, or a lot of rejection is coming in as well. And that's why you are the way that you are. Wow, that was quick. Okay, thank you. So on the bottom we have expand your spirit with make your spiritual world richer, read more, think less. Or I'm sorry, try that again. Read more, think more, and be exposed to new things, and your spirit will continue to grow and see a wider world. So yeah, they see you as someone who's always expanding yourself, always learning, always growing, not stuck in the same old routines. We have opportunity. Opportunity comes to those who are prepared. Always be prepared. And when the opportunity comes, be brave enough to grab it. And it will open up new possibilities. So you're always looking on the bright side and seeing the opportunity at every moment of life. Pioneer. Yeah, you could be an inventor for sure. With passion for doing and creating what has not been done before, and the shadow's compulsive need to keep moving on. So some kind of engineer or creator or inventor. I think of something like that. You could be an architect. You could be a fashion designer. That's coming in too. Okay. Misalignment. We have miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. So this goes back to what I was saying, like, you're hard to pinpoint, and so people perceive you as being almost elusive in a way. And that misalignment is coming into place because you've accepted all parts of yourself, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. And if you show up as any one of those in any one given moment, you're not judging yourself. You're just letting it be what it is. It's not to say that you're projecting onto people or taking it out on people. It's just saying, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to be in a bad mood, and I'm probably going to be withdrawn today, but I'm not going to beat myself up for that, nor am I going to take it out on others. Circles. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Didn't I say, like, you have an easy time overcoming patterns and cycles? I think I said that on your reading. But that's what I feel like this is confirming. Like, you're able to get through the cycles of difficult things. That's why you're able to see opportunities everywhere. Adversity. Yeah, you've been through a lot of challenges. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So people do perceive you as someone who's experienced a lot of challenges, which is what makes you hard to pin down. Anger. Okay, they could perceive you as having anger. That's what wasn't I just saying that? Like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to be in a bad mood, and I'm not going to take it out on anybody, but I'm also going to withdraw. And so that might make people feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like you're taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. And that also brings with it the knowledge that other people know that it's not their fault. Like, it's not my fault that you're mad. And even if it is their fault, it's like you're going to eventually come and tell them that, but you have to go through the emotions first. So people do perceive you as holding on to anger, but I don't feel like you do. I feel like it's just because there are days when you are angry, and okay. Rejection. Didn't I say that people feel rejected by you at some times? I don't know. This whole reading is just kind of starting to run into itself. It's been a long day already, guys. But I feel like the thing is that you've rejected a lot of people. And so they perceive you as someone that, you know, again, that energy coming in where it's like they want to have a one-night stand with you, or they just want to get you into bed. And you have had to say no a lot of times. And people feel so rejected by that. Like, how could pile 3 reject me like that? Like, that's not fair. They seem to give it to everyone else, but they feel like you're very selective with who you invite in. And I feel like for you, you have to be selective for who you invite in, because we can't just be letting anybody into our energy. We have effectively. Doing things effectively, find the right way to do it, give your all, and you will see results. Every effective action is a step towards success. Yeah, so they see you as someone who's very proficient at what you do. So they perceive you as having a lot of talent. We're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Scorpion. So a lot of Scorpio energy, right? With the Scorpion coming in, we had Scorpio come out on the bottom of the deck. We had Scorpio in your dice. So you could have a lot of Scorpio in your chart as well. Interesting. Fire. All right, my friend. All right. Look. Passionate, competitive, tends towards isolation. I think I said that too. Like, you go into hermit mode, like you just withdraw from people when you need to. The Scorpion is a passionate, determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they are left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. And with the anger card coming out here, so there might be something that's festering for you that you haven't dealt with, or there's a person who's perceiving you as having anger towards them, and you may have anger towards them, but I do feel like you've withdrawn because you need time to recoup and to reassess what it is that you're doing. It says, when in balance, you're wild and free and fierce. And we said that earlier. It's like people see you as this free spirit. And when out of balance, jealous, resentful, and unresolved. To bring into balance, be honest and have forgiveness. So really powerful energy here. I do feel like people are mystified by you quite a bit. Like, they can't pinpoint you, and so they're absolutely enamored by you because they can't pinpoint you. They can't say like, oh, pile 3 is this, because you're really an embodiment of so many different things all at once, which really everybody is. We're all multifaceted, but you really live that from day to day, and people, they see that, they experience that, they witness that, and so they perceive you as being free because you're able to do that, which is a really cool energy, honestly. So this is what I see here for you, pile number 3. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little Scorpion emoji down below and say, even though my sting burns, I know that I can take space and time away to recalibrate and come back refreshed and free once again. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. With that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly powerful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.